Ladies and gentlemen, the Europeans, their fatality from the heat is rising every single year. I mean, let's face it, these folks are not made for the kind of temperatures they have to endure over the spring and summer months now. It is taking them out. And they already said this is not going to get better. If you look at Europe now, they are getting the same kind of heat that you would see in the Middle East. And they're not used to it. And not to mention, their homes, many of their homes don't have AC. Now, they're starting to get it. But if it's 114 and 17 degrees, even with the best AC, you're going to have a problem keeping yourself cool. An AC unit can do only so much. When you start getting in triple digits, which they are seeing a lot over in Europe, even that AC is not going to be able to keep up. So let's get into this story, y'all. The fatalities are getting worse. Hotter summers kill thousands in a Europe with a scant air conditioning. Yeah. So, the entire globe is heating up. It is just heating up everywhere. When the spring and summer come, the majority of the earth is now in a heat wave. Summer temperatures in Europe are rising faster than efforts to change European lifestyles and cope with the scorching heat. The major cause, this right now, is during their spring and summer months, death is the number one cause on the continent over there in Europe, the summer heat. Many households, offices, and even nursing homes in Europe lack air conditioning devices that Europeans once viewed as an American luxury. Well, it's not. It's not. Mm-mm. More than half of the households in Europe are still without AC. Meanwhile, a rash of worker deaths during the heat wave is pushing some governments to restrict outdoor labor when temperatures soar. Yeah, and now you have to do things that you never would have done before. When I was over in Europe, y'all, the summer was generally like around the 80s back then. Now, most of their summers are in triple digits. And it's also hurting their tourism industry over there too. A lot of people are now not looking at Europe as a destination for the summer because of the triple digits they're hitting. And you can see those stories out there. They're losing money in the summers now, where tourism used to be a big thing for them. And even that's changing. Okay, so more than 5,600 people died. Now, I was reading, and they're just talking about Spain, Italy, and Germany. You're not even talking about France and other locations that were in the smoldering heat. So the numbers are still trickling from other countries. The summer heat isn't over. So this past Monday was the hottest day in September ever recorded in France. The temperatures reaching over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. in the southeastern part of France. The deaths are a consequence of rapid warming on the continent, accustomed to temperature. It used to be pretty mild for a long time. The European temperatures were mild in the summer. That's why you didn't need AC. All right. So, summer heat waves that were once, really not a common thing are now becoming part of European life. You hear these politicians talking about climate change and what they can do to reverse this. Let me tell you something. You can't rely on these politicians to change anything. Mm-mm. If some corporation comes along and gives them billions of dollars and said, let the heat waves just stay, they would do it. They would do it out of greed. You can't trust that they're going to do anything. So temperatures are rising twice as fast in Europe as the world overall, according to the World Meteorologist Organization. With an average temperature in 2022, the temperature went up 2.3 degrees Celsius or 4 degrees Fahrenheit warmer. And didn't they say this past July was record breaking, the hottest it's ever been here in America? Yeah, July was a pretty hot month for most of the country. So Europe is still cooler in the summer, much more than the southern US. The lack of widespread air conditioning leaves frail populations vulnerable when temperatures climb. So, a study published last year estimated that extreme heat in the US led to 1,400 additional deaths annually between 2008 and 2017. Last year, repeated heat waves across Europe killed 61,700 people, according to a study published in the journal Nature in July. Italy registered 18,100 heat related deaths, the most of the country. Then Spain and Germany followed Italy. France, heat waves left nursing homes struggling to keep the residents cool. These facilities must have at least one room with AC. That is now a requirement over there by the government. Because I mean they've had nursing homes over there for decades with no AC, and that's definitely a vulnerable population. So you're seeing 61,700 people that died in Europe. And they said back in 2003, the heat related fatalities was 20,000. So you see a huge difference between them and then and now, and that's going to go up every year. I mean, that's going to go up to six figures real soon if you're already at 61,000. So, I mean, here in America, at least you do have a lot of central air, but over there, they're not as prepared as they really should be. So the heat waves are still not over. They are continuing into September. We just went through a heat wave here in the Northeast, for like the last, what, 7 days? Yeah. So the heat is continuing in September, and at nursing homes, the staffs are protecting residents by ensuring that they are well hydrated, rotating them in the air conditioned room that they're required to have. They are also purchasing mobile air conditioning units across Europe. And, some of the people we're talking about last night was horrible. Yeah, I can imagine if you don't have AC and you're hitting triple digits, it must be next to impossible to sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, let's go on. So, Europe still has far less air conditioning than the US. So, they are starting to get it gradually, but it's a slow process. Now, for instance, they were saying in 2013, only 29% of families in Italy had air conditioning. That's it. In Spain, 38% of the households had air conditioning. In Germany, in 2013, 13% of the population had AC. So it was hardly nobody. The majority of the place did not have it. Now, they are trying to get it now, but it's a slow process for the country to have it. Now, here in the US, compared to Europe, around 90% of the households have some sort of air conditioning unit. Even if you don't have it in every room in your house, you may have one unit in the house. So they're estimating that heat is the cause of death during this time of the year. But in many cases where heart attacks and strokes go up due to the heat, it's rarely listed on the death certificates over there. All right. And then a group of workers were saying the morning of July 11th, the temperatures were already 100 degrees Fahrenheit in northern Italy, which prevented trash collection. Can you imagine that trash sitting out there and baking in triple digits? Ooh, it must smell horrible over there. I can imagine that is just getting worse. Yeah. So, it's just the people that work outside saying how impossible it is for them to do their work. And one worker went into cardiac arrest. And, the unions are now trying to change everything because they are getting hit with the heat related death, especially outside workers. That off. So anyway, it's very clear that some sectors over certain temperature, people exposed to that kind of heat need to stop working. So the states are trying to fund where their workers still get paid and they must stop working outside once the temperature exceeds 95 degrees. They sure don't do that here because I see them postal workers out there and it be triple digits and they're still out there working, you know? So, y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. You know, who knew? Who knew? I never thought I would see temperatures like I do over in Europe, but it's here and it's not going to go anywhere. So they are in fear of the deaths going up every year like it is now and possibly even getting worse. You're talking about a place that already had a struggling birth rate. Please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.